After three consecutive losses to open conference play, the Virginia Cavaliers finally picked up their first ACC win of the season and coached Tony Elliott's first career ACC win as head coach of the Hoos in an ugly 16-9 win over the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets on Thursday night, and Virginia's first win in Bobby Dodd Stadium since 2008. Overall, this game started out in a manner that UVA fans have become all too familiar with in the first half of the season, with turnovers on both of Virginia's first two drives. In the Hoos' opening drive, Paris Jones was stripped by the Georgia Tech defense for a fumble, and then in UVA's second drive, quarterback Brennan Armstrong threw an interception that went off of Keaton Thompson's hands deep in Cavalier territory that was returned for a Georgia Tech touchdown to give the Yellow Jackets an early 6-0 lead. Fortunately, Virginia responded in the best way possible with a 9-play, 75-yard drive that was capped off with a Brennan Armstrong rushing touchdown from the 1-yard line to give the Hoos a 7-6 lead at the end of the first quarter. Following a Georgia Tech punt, UVA opened the second quarter with yet another turnover, their third of the game, with Brennan Armstrong's second interception to give the ball back to the Yellow Jackets. However, Armstrong would make up for his mistake later in the half with a 44-yard touchdown pass to Dontavion Wicks on an incredible play from Wicks to help give the Hoos a 13-9 halftime lead. So far in 2022, Wicks hasn't been nearly as good as he was last year, but he played his best game of the season against Georgia Tech, leading the Hoos with 99 receiving yards on 4 catches and a score. In the second half, Virginia's defense completely dominated the rest of the game. Even though Georgia Tech starting quarterback Jeff Sims left the game in the second quarter and did not return, the Hoos did not give up a single first down in the third quarter and caused a Georgia Tech fumble. Virginia was also able to add on to its lead with a 28-yard field goal from Will Bettridge in the third quarter, which would be the last point scored for either team in the game in UVA's 16-9 win. Even though the game was far from pretty, the Hoos took some pretty serious steps in the right direction on the defensive side of the ball. The Cavaliers' defensive line played easily their best game of the season, recording a total of 8 sacks, which is their second most in program history. Georgia Tech transfer Chico Bennett and Nick Jackson led the way for the Hoos, each recording 2 sacks. Overall, Virginia's defense held the Yellow Jackets to just 202 total yards of offense on just 2.8 yards per play, while not allowing an offensive touchdown for the first time this season. Offensively, despite UVA's 3 turnovers, the Cavaliers did have plenty of success moving the football, finishing with 411 total yards of offense. Despite throwing 2 interceptions, Brennan Armstrong played reasonably well considering his surroundings, throwing for 255 yards on 20 of 35 passing with a passing touchdown. He also was the leading rusher for the Hoos, running for a total of 92 yards. As a team, Virginia had a lot of success in the running game, finishing with 156 yards on the ground. After the win over the Yellow Jackets, the 3-4 Cavaliers will look to pick up another ACC win and get back to a 500 record when the 3-4 Miami Hurricanes come to Charlottesville on Saturday. I'm Duncan McGrath, WUVA.